Welcome to Foundations of Language, Lesson 3, Ontario Language Curriculum Overview. In this lesson, we will begin to look at the new language curriculum from a broader view. We will look at the new overall structure and the context that needs consideration while implementing the new curriculum. On June 24th of 2023, the much-anticipated revised language curriculum was released. This current curriculum organizes knowledge and skills into 4 distinct but related strands. A. Literacy connections and applications. B. Foundations of language. C. Comprehension, understanding and responding to texts. And D. Composition, expressing ideas and creating texts. These 4 learning strands are uniquely related in this version of the language curriculum. In all grades of the language program, the learning related to Strand A takes place in the context of learning related to Strand B, Strand C, and Strand D. Strand A should be assessed and evaluated within these contexts. As we explore the strands in later sections of this module, we will talk about connections among and between strands. Before digging into the strands of the language curriculum, it is worth noting that there is much front matter that sets the context for the overall and specific expectations within the strands. The content is very worthwhile, and it is highly recommended that as educators, we should pay particular attention to the front matter to get a general understanding of the spirit of this new curriculum and the outcomes we are hoping to achieve. Together, the underlying beliefs, the context, and the expectations come together to ensure access to impactful literacy education for all students and to ensure the conditions for more equitable outcomes for all. In this video, we will touch upon each of the topics in the front matter. For a fuller understanding, please visit the Ontario Language Curriculum website and click on the Curriculum Context tab in the left-hand navigation bar. The vision and goals of this curriculum are based in the essential belief that all students can succeed. It recognizes that literacy is essential for success. It affects all academic achievement and is associated with social, emotional, economic, and physical health. The Ontario language curriculum is designed to support students in developing the language and literacy knowledge and skills they need to succeed in education and in life, and to encourage students to experience the joy and possibility that literacy learning can ignite. Developing oral language skills in the early years is essential to the development of literacy, knowledge, symbolic thought, self-regulation, identity, self-advocacy, self-reflection, and lifelong learning. By building students' foundational skills, the language curriculum enhances each student's learning across all subject areas. It allows students to harness the power of the written word and develop higher-order literacy skills. This fosters a love of learning and paves the way for future success. Next, we have the 4 principles that underlie this new language curriculum. An effective language curriculum is based on and informed by evidence-based research. An effective language curriculum recognizes the diverse identities and abilities of students and their different language and cultural experiences and learning needs. A modern language curriculum reflects emerging technologies and their impact on communication and digital media literacy. And finally, a comprehensive language curriculum encompasses learning across the curriculum and in the world beyond the classroom. Next, we will explore what the curriculum calls instructional approaches. The first one is evidence-based, systematic, and explicit instruction. This curriculum emphasizes that foundational language and literacy knowledge and skills need to be taught through evidence-based, systematic, and explicit instruction, often referred to as structured literacy. Structured literacy is an evidence-based approach that informs us on not only what to teach, but how to teach it. A structured literacy approach involves teaching the major components of reading. phonemic awareness, phonics, word reading, spelling, fluency, vocabulary, listening and reading comprehension, and written expression. It is important to recognize that these skills do not exist in isolation and that students need to develop them simultaneously with an understanding of how the skills are connected. Structured literacy instruction involves consideration of not only what is taught, but also how it is taught. A structured literacy approach to language and literacy learning provides systematic and explicit instruction that is carefully sequenced based on the language skill progression. It cumulatively builds upon previous knowledge, is adjusted to meet individual students' needs, and is informed by ongoing assessment. The next instructional approach is multimodal literacy instruction. This instructional approach involves engaging the multiple sensory modalities and focuses on the interplay among these modalities. Aside from sensory modalities, this approach also highlights diverse text forms, modes, and media, and incorporates text forms and genres from various cultures. Finally, multimodal literacy instruction facilitates translanguaging, which is the use of different languages together to foster learning. This curriculum also emphasizes the importance of oral communication instructional approaches. It recognizes that students need rich opportunities to engage in both listening and speaking, and that these opportunities should be across a variety of contexts and situations, both formal and informal. It recognizes the importance of setting norms and language for respectful discourse, and it allows for differences in conventions associated with different social and cultural contexts. The curriculum also recognizes that all students will benefit when we as educators teach these foundational knowledge and skills explicitly and systematically. This curriculum emphasizes the importance of two instructional frameworks. These frameworks are not new and can be found in the Learning for All document. The aim of Universal Design for Learning is to assist teachers in designing language programs and environments that provide all students with equitable access to the language curriculum. Within this framework, teachers engage students in multiple ways to support them in becoming successful in their language learning. Teachers respond to students' diverse learner profiles by designing tasks that offer individual choice, are relevant and authentic, provide graduated levels of challenge, and foster collaboration in the language classroom. While Universal Design for Learning provides teachers with broad principles for planning language instruction and learning experiences for a diverse group of students, differentiated instruction allows them to address specific skills and learning needs. Differentiated instruction is rooted in assessment and involves purposefully planning varied approaches to teaching the content of the curriculum. A third instructional framework is the MTSS, Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. MTSS is often associated with the pyramid graphic of the tiered approach. MTSS, however, is more than instructional tiers. This multi-tiered system of support is intended to be a proactive, preventative model designed to provide timely support for all students in order to prevent literacy difficulties from developing. Effective Tier 1 curriculum and classroom instruction is the foundation for a functional MTSS model. In order to learn more about the MTSS framework, please visit the resource library. Another instructional approach we as educators must consider is the selection of texts and learning resources. This curriculum poses relevant and thoughtful questions to help guide us in our selection of these resources. The considerations include using materials and texts that will support instruction outlined in this new curriculum, such as decodable text for decoding instruction and opportunities for advanced language learning through carefully chosen read-alouds. Some of the questions and considerations also prompt us to ensure diversity and accessibility of resources so that all learners can see themselves as part of the larger literacy learning environment. The next section of the context section of the curriculum document is planning considerations for students with special education needs. What is clearly stated is that classroom teachers are the key educators of students with special education needs and students with disabilities. They have a responsibility to create the conditions necessary to support all students in their learning, and they work collaboratively with special education teachers and other educators where appropriate to achieve this goal. Some of the specific considerations for students with special education needs are a focus on foundational skills and access to grade level skills, access to appropriate accommodations and modifications to the student's individual education plan. Students with specific literacy and language struggles will need many more opportunities for guided practice, descriptive feedback, and modeling and coaching. Student learning in response to intervention needs frequent progress monitoring, and explicit teaching and support of executive function skills may be required. The next section of the context section of the curriculum document is planning considerations for English language learners. English language learners are culturally and linguistically diverse students who are working to achieve the language curriculum expectations while they are acquiring English language proficiency. Some of the specific considerations for English language learners are many oral language opportunities that encourage the use of translanguaging, the use of concrete and digital learning tools to facilitate comprehension and learning, a focus on culturally relevant and responsive pedagogy, which includes the fostering of family and community supports and connections. The context section of the curriculum also highlights the role of both the school library and the role of information and communications technology in language programs. The language curriculum is strongly supported by the Library Learning Commons. Teacher librarians, where available, can help to nurture and develop a love of reading for learning and for pleasure, assist students in accessing information and in selecting appropriate texts, and guide students in experiencing various texts and media that are relevant to their lives. The language curriculum was developed with the understanding that the strategic use of technology is part of an effective program. Technology can extend and enrich teachers' instructional strategies to support all students' learning in language and literacy. Technology can support and foster the development and demonstrations of language learning. Students need well-developed language and literacy skills to succeed in all subject areas. Enrich language and literacy experiences deepen the conceptual understanding and strengthen the development of knowledge and skills in other subject areas. At the same time, the development of skills and knowledge in language is often enhanced by learning in other subject areas. In cross-curricular learning, students are provided with opportunities to learn and use related content and skills in 2 or more subjects. There are many examples in this curriculum where integrated learning can happen. When we capitalize on cross-curricular and integrated learning in language, we enrich the learning for students, help them build knowledge, and maximize the use of the limited time we have with our students. In this curriculum, assessment and evaluation of student achievement is addressed in the context section of the curriculum. As in past versions of the curriculum, we have 4 achievement charts that cover knowledge and understanding, thinking, communication, and application. Learning and assessment related to the expectations in Strand A occurs within the context of learning related to Strands B through D. Student achievement of the expectations in Strand A are to be assessed and evaluated throughout the year and may be included in the comment section of the report card. Thank you for viewing Lesson 3 of the Foundations of Language Learning module.